The View set crackles with tension as Joy Behar leans forward, her eyes locked on Blake Shelton. You can't just play the, shucks country boy card and dodge real questions, she says, her voice sharp enough to cut through the studio's warm lights. Blake's jaw tightens, his fingers gripping the armrest of his chair. The audience, buzzing with anticipation, senses the shift from playful banter to something raw. Joy, I'm here to talk about my music, my fans, not to be your punching bag, he fires back, his Oklahoma drawl thick with frustration. Joy smirks, undeterred. People deserve to know if you're all hat and no cattle on these issues, Blake. The jab lands hard, and the crowd gasps, a mix of cheers and uneasy murmurs rippling through. Blake's face flushes, part anger, part disbelief. He leans forward, pointing a finger. You're twisting everything I say into some gotcha moment. That's not journalism, it's a setup. His voice booms, echoing off the studio walls. Whoopi Goldberg shifts in her seat, trying to interject with a calming, "Now, hold on," but Joy cuts her off, doubling down. If you can't handle tough questions, maybe you shouldn't be here. The air feels electric, the audience hanging on every word. Blake stands abruptly, yanking off his mic with a sharp tug, the feedback screeching through the speakers. I don't need this ambush, he snaps, his towering frame casting a shadow across the set. He strides toward the wings, cowboy boots thudding against the polished floor, leaving Joy momentarily speechless. Whoopi calls for a commercial break, her voice drowned out by the crowd's mix of boos and applause. Backstage, a producer scrambles to follow Blake as phones light up with audience members recording the chaos, the moment already going viral on X. The set feels frozen, Joy's defiant stare clashing with the stunned looks of her co-hosts, as the show hurtles into uncharted territory. The View stage hums under bright lights as Blake Shelton settles into the guest chair, his easy smile masking a flicker of unease. The audience claps warmly, still buzzing from his opening anecdote about life on his Oklahoma ranch. Joy Behar, perched across from him, nods along but her eyes glint with purpose. The conversation starts innocently enough. Joy asks about his new album's inspiration, and Blake dives in, talking about late-night songwriting sessions and his love for storytelling through music. It's about real life, you know. Heartbreak, hope, the good stuff, he says, his drawl smooth as whiskey. But Joy pivots sharply, her tone shifting from curious to confrontational. Speaking of real life, Blake, you've been vocal about staying out of politics, but your fans are curious. Where do you stand on insert controversial issue, e.g., gun rights or cancel culture? The question lands like a dart, and the audience quiets, sensing the shift. Blake's smile falters, his fingers tapping the armrest. Look, Joy, I'm a singer, not a senator. I stick to what I know. Music that brings people together, he replies, aiming for diplomacy. The crowd offers scattered applause, but Joy isn't satisfied. She leans forward, her voice taking on a prosecutorial edge. That's a nice dodge, but you're a public figure. Don't you think staying silent is taking a side? The accusation hangs heavy, and Blake's posture stiffens, his jaw clenching as he processes the trap. I don't think it's fair to twist my choice to focus on music into something it's not, he says, his voice steady but laced with irritation. The other hosts, Whoopi, Sarah, and Sunny, exchange glances, sensing the brewing storm. Whoopi tries to lighten the mood with a quick joke, but Joy presses on, her eyes locked on Blake. Your fans deserve to know if you're with them or not. You can't just hide behind a guitar. The audience murmurs, some nodding in agreement with Joy, others shifting uncomfortably. Blake's eyes narrow, his laid-back charm giving way to a flash of defiance. I'm not hiding, Joy. I'm just not here to play your game. The tension crackles, the set feeling smaller as the cameras zoom in, capturing every micro-expression. Whoopi raises a hand, signaling a possible redirect, but the spark has been lit, and the conversation teeters on the edge of combustion, ready to explode in the next heated exchange. The View studio pulses with a charged silence as Joy Behar's latest jab. You can't just play the, shucks country boy card and dodge real questions, hangs in the air like a lit fuse. Blake Shelton, seated in the guest chair, grips the armrests so tightly his knuckles widen, his easygoing demeanor crumbling under the weight of Joy's relentless probing. The audience, a mix of loyal fans and curious onlookers, leans forward, their phones discreetly recording as the tension spikes. The stage lights feel hotter, the vibrant set, decked in its signature blues and reds, suddenly a pressure cooker. Joy, I came here to talk about my music, my fans, not to be your punching bag, Blake snaps, his Oklahoma drawl thickening with a raw edge. His voice carries a controlled intensity, but his eyes betray a storm brewing. Joy, unfazed, leans forward, her glasses glinting as she fires back. People deserve to know if you're all hat and no cattle, Blake. You're a role model. Act like it. The audience gasps, a ripple of shocked laughter mixing with murmurs of agreement and dissent. The phrase stings, and Blake's face flushes, a blend of frustration and betrayal at the ambush. Whoopi Goldberg, sensing the derailment, tries to steer the ship. Okay, let's take a breath here, she says, her voice calm but firm, gesturing with both hands like a referee. But Joy, in full bulldog mode, cuts her off. No, Whoopi, he doesn't get to dodge this. If you're in the public eye, you answer for your silence. The crowd's reaction splits, some clap for Joy's tenacity, others boo her aggression. Blake, now standing halfway out of his chair, towers over the set, his 6 feet 5 inches frame casting a shadow. You're not asking questions, Joy, you're twisting my words into a trap. That's not fair, and I'm done with it. His voice booms, raw and unfiltered, silencing the room for a split second. Without warning, he yanks off his mic pack, the sharp pop of feedback screeching through the studio speakers. I don't need this, he declares, tossing the mic onto the table with a clatter that echoes like a gunshot. His cowboy boots thud against the polished floor as he strides toward the stage's edge, ignoring the producers' frantic gestures from the wings. The audience erupts, some cheering his defiance, others stunned into silence, as Whoopi calls out, "All right, we're going to a break." Her voice is nearly drowned out by the chaos. Sarah Haynes and Sunny Hostin exchange wide-eyed looks, while Joy sits back, arms crossed, her expression a mix of defiance and shock. Cameras catch every angle, the moment already streaming across X as hashtags like #Blake walks off and #Joy vs Blake trend within minutes. Backstage, a producer chases after Blake, but the damage is done. The clash is a viral wildfire, burning through social media and setting the stage for a messy fallout. The view backstage area is a maze of dimly lit corridors and bustling crew members, but the air feels thick with the aftershock of Blake Shelton's dramatic exit. Blake, still fuming, paces a cramped green room, his cowboy boots scuffing the linoleum floor. His flannel shirt is slightly untucked, a casualty of his mic-ripping moment, and his face is a storm of frustration and disbelief. I came here to talk about my album, not to get grilled like I'm on trial, he vents to a harried producer, who's clutching a clipboard and trying to keep up. That wasn't an interview, it was an ambush. The producer nods sympathetically, muttering about getting him some water, but Blake waves him off, running a hand through his tousled hair as he checks his phone, already lighting up with notifications from X posts tagging him in viral clips of the clash. Meanwhile, in a nearby dressing room, Joy Behar sits on a plush couch, sipping coffee with a defiant glint in her eye. A makeup artist dabs at her forehead, but Joy's focus is on a junior staffer who's relaying the social media frenzy. They're saying I pushed too hard, but that's my job, Joy declares, her Brooklyn accent sharp. He's a big boy, he can handle a real question. She gestures animatedly, undeterred by the growing online backlash. Another staffer pipes up, reading a tweet aloud. Joy Behar just tried to cancel Blake Shelton. Bad move. Joy scoffs, cancel, please. I was holding him accountable. If he can't take the heat, he shouldn't step into the kitchen. Her confidence masks a flicker of unease as she glances at her phone, where #Joy vs Blake trends alongside heated debates. Across the hall, Whoopi Goldberg huddles with co-hosts Sarah Haynes and Sunny Hostin in a quiet corner, trying to make sense of the chaos. We've gotta smooth this over on air tomorrow, Whoopi says, her voice low but firm, her dreadlocks swaying as she shakes her head. This is The View, not a cage match. Sarah, scrolling through X on her phone, winces at a fan video splicing Blake's walkout with dramatic music. It's already got 2 million views, she murmurs. Sunny, ever the lawyer, suggests a measured response to avoid alienating either fanbase, but the group knows the incident has taken on a life of its own. A producer rushes in, warning that Blake's team is considering a public statement, and ABC execs are not thrilled about the PR mess. Back in Blake's green room, his manager calls, urging him to stay off social media and let the dust settle. But Blake, still wired, scrolls through X, seeing fans split, some praising his stand-up moment, others calling him a diva for storming off. He mutters to himself, "I didn't sign up for this circus." A knock at the door interrupts. A junior producer, barely hiding her nerves, asks if he'll return for the next segment. Blake shakes his head, his voice firm but weary. "I'm done here. Tell them good luck cleaning this up." As he grabs his jacket and heads for the exit, the backstage buzz grows louder, with crew members whispering about ratings spikes and the inevitable headlines. The fallout is just beginning, and the internet is already ablaze, turning a fleeting moment into a cultural flashpoint. The View studio is back on air the next morning, the set bathed in its usual vibrant hues, but an undercurrent of tension lingers like static. The audience, larger than usual thanks to yesterday's viral clash, buzzes with anticipation as Whoopi Goldberg takes the lead, her voice steady but weighted with purpose. "Folks, you all saw what went down yesterday with Blake Shelton," she begins, her hands clasped on the table. "Things got heated, and we're gonna talk about it." The camera pans to Joy Behar, who sits with her chin high, her red glasses catching the light, unapologetic but composed. The other hosts, Sarah Haynes, Sunny Hostin, and Alyssa Farah Griffin, exchange subtle glances, aware of the tightrope they're walking. Whoopi continues, framing the incident as a lesson in dialogue. "We're about real talk here, but it's gotta be respectful. Things got out of hand, and we're sorry for that." Joy leans forward, her tone defiant yet measured. "I stand by my questions. Public figures like Blake have influence, and it's our job to ask where they stand. If he couldn't handle it, that's on him." The audience offers a mix of applause and murmurs, some nodding in support, others visibly skeptical. Sunny chimes in, her legal mind cutting through the noise. "It's about balance. Tough questions are fair, but it felt like a pile-on. We can do better." Sarah, ever diplomatic, adds, "Blake's a beloved artist. Maybe we didn't give him enough space to share his music." The crowd claps, but the divide is clear. Joy's boldness has fans and critics alike. Meanwhile, Blake Shelton is miles away, back in Nashville, sitting in a cozy studio with a guitar resting on his knee. His phone buzzes incessantly with notifications, but he's focused on a text from Gwen Stefani, "You did the right thing. Stay you." He smirks, then posts a cryptic tweet, "I sing about life, not fights. Thanks to the fans who get it. Hashtag new music soon." The tweet explodes, racking up thousands of retweets and comments within minutes, with fans flooding X with support. Blake stood his ground, while others jab, running from joy was weak. The hashtag Blake walks off trends alongside hashtag Joy vs Blake, fueling a broader online debate about celebrity interviews, talk show tactics, and whether Joy crossed a line or Blake overreacted. Back at The View, the hosts pivot to a lighter segment, but the incident's ripple effects are undeniable. Producers huddle in the control room, grinning at the overnight ratings spike, the highest in months. A junior staffer scrolls through X, reading aloud posts that range from, "Joy's a legend for calling Blake out," to, "The View owes Blake an apology." Off-air, ABC execs debate how to handle the PR fallout, with some pushing for a formal statement, others banking on the controversy to boost viewership. Across town, Blake's team fields calls from outlets like TMZ and Rolling Stone, each clamoring for his side. He declines interviews, instead recording a raw acoustic track in the studio, channeling his frustration into lyrics about staying true in a world of noise. The incident becomes a cultural talking point, dissected on podcasts, late-night shows, and X threads. Some frame it as a clash of values, Joy's unyielding journalism versus Blake's heartland authenticity. Others see it as a staged spectacle, questioning if The View leaned into the drama for clicks. Blake's album, ironically, surges on streaming platforms, propelled by the publicity, while The View books more high-profile guests, capitalizing on the buzz. In a quiet moment, Joy sips coffee backstage, scrolling through the online firestorm, her expression unreadable. Blake, strumming his guitar, glances at a TV replaying the clip and shakes his head, muttering, "Never again." The saga, though fleeting, leaves a lasting mark, a testament to the power of a single moment in the media maelstrom.